Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan,
And I'm Rob.
and we'll be diving deep today with waiver pickups.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan, Fantasy R&R.
All right, a lot of news coming out in the MLB. Most of you know Dustin May has been dropped in a lot of leagues. He's a starting pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's going to be getting Tommy John surgery on May 11th, so his arm is shot. It's his right elbow. This guy is going to be out for the year. So what we're going to be doing is checking out some replacements that you can get on the waiver wire right now. And Rob, we're going to have you take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of drops, Ryan Weathers, pitcher for San Diego Padres, has recently been getting dropped due to speculation whether or not he's going to make his next start. The Padres look like they're saying he is. So see if he can get out there, just, some sort of replacement for the week, and has been pitching really well to start the season. Another guy we're looking at, Minnesota Twins, J. Happ. Yes, J. Happ still pitches for Major League Baseball team. As of again, another pitcher that has started pretty hot this season, and the Twins offense has been legit so far to start the season as well. So
Yeah.
Target Field being a pitcher's park the way it is, that always helps. Another guy we're looking at, Johnny Cueto. Yet again, another guy who, yes, still pitches baseball. The Giants are paying him a lofty contract to essentially pitch every so often or whenever he feels like. It seems as if recently he's decided to pitch pretty well. I'm not sure how sustainable it is. I mean, it is Johnny Cueto and all. He's already been nicked up a couple times this year, but in the meantime, ride the wave. A couple other guys we're looking at. This is where I'm starting to get really iffy. Similar like Johnny Cueto, Alex Wood is another one. He's always been pretty good in his career, just a lot of injuries. As of late, has been pitching well for the Giants. Pick him up, see where it goes. Do I think it's sustainable? Not really due to injuries, but the next guy I want to talk about is just a guy I do not believe in whatsoever, and Nick Pivetta, Boston Red Sox pitcher. Whip is way too high. He's given up way too many hits, too many walks. With whip, walks to hits over innings pitched, that will catch up to a pitcher's ERA really fast.
Speaking of which, as we move on to this next guy, Kyle Gibson on the Texas Rangers, he's been averaging an incredibly low whip over his last couple games. This last start on April 29th, I believe, against Red Sox, went 6 innings, had a whip of 1, got a couple of Ks in that game. I believe he's starting again today against the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, no, it looks like Texas got a nice little rebound piece. Last year it was Lance Lynn, who they traded to the White Sox in the offseason. This year is Kyle Gibson. And again, like you'd said, the low whip to me is always indicative of a really good pitcher. The less hits you give up, the less chance you're going to give up a home run. Only makes sense. The less walks you're giving out in a game, the less chances people can do damage with players on base. So generally, Kyle Gibson, of the guys I've named so far, who is more than likely rostered in the highest percentage, is definitely the number one guy I'd look at. Before we get into Oscar Inoue for the Atlanta Braves, this guy has always had really wicked stuff. He's only, I believe, like 22 years old, 24, somewhere along those lines. Has looked really good early on. I'm not sure how sustainable it is, but again, the Braves are really good offense to be behind, and the ballpark is going to make up for some mistakes, or will not make up for mistakes being a little smaller of a ballpark. But these are all definitely guys who have a really good chance of being on the waiver wire, not named Kyle Gibson, that could help you out with this tragic news here with Dustin May and Mr. Tommy John himself.
Yeah, we're very sad to hear that. So Dustin, may the 420 be with you, and get better soon. So now that we're done with pitchers, let's move on to some batters to watch.
Yes.
There's been a slew of injuries, actually a lot of news coming out. Milwaukee Brewers first baseman Keston Hiura, who we've mentioned on this podcast before as being someone who might have been droppable, he's actually been optioned to the alternate training site now. So you're going to be looking at some replacements for him, although we might have talked about that last time. Center fielder for the Chi Sox, Luis Roberts, has suffered a grade 3 right hip flexor strain. That's a complete tear, so he's going to be out 12 to 16 weeks. Other news, Atlanta Braves catcher Travis d'Arnaud is on a 60-day IL, and backup catcher Alex Jackson is going to be on the 10-day IL with a strained left hamstring. Happened pretty much simultaneously. Previously demoted after spring training was William Contreras. He will be getting the call to start for the short foreseeable future, and he started off that short tenure on May 2nd going 1 for 3 with a ribby and a walk against the Toronto Blue Jays. So we got him to look at. But why don't you take us through some other hot batters right now that you need to get off the waivers?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, perfect timing. Is that Travis d'Arnaud and Alex Jackson in that ambulance that was just charging down the street there? That could have possibly
Man, you never know what celebrity could be in those ambulances out here in Boston, but
this is true. Yes. Well, let's start it off. Let's just stay in Braves country here. William Contreras, who has been a big prospect with them, plays catcher, is now their starting catcher. Catcher is the worst position in baseball. Give this guy a chance. I really believe in this guy. I think he has got the stance and the look of I know that sounds silly, of a catcher who can just hit. Cue the sirens because Alex Kirilloff needs to be rostered. Minnesota Twins rookie is just hitting the cover off the ball. I am shocked that before this podcast even started, I had talked to Ryan and was just like, hey man, see if Alex Kirilloff's available. Well, he was available in all 3 leagues. So
yeah, we went Kirilloff hunting and we really pulled the pulled the champion. Yeah,
we did. And I'm telling you, I think this is a league winner. I look at him the same way that I look at Jared Kelenic, the center fielder out in Seattle. I think these two are going to be great rookies. Not digging deep with Kirilloff. With Kelenic yet because he hasn't gotten the call. But similar to Kirilloff, it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. So jumping from that, Josh Rojas, who had killed it in spring, got really cold. Everybody dropped him. Josh Rojas now is hitting the cover off the ball. 3 home runs over the weekend. He has a patient approach to the plate, very similar to that of pitchers with whip. I look at walk rate, I look at swing and strike rate. If these guys aren't swinging for the fences all the time and can make contact, these are hitters to own. On top of that, on the flip side, this doesn't mean much for fantasy, but he is also a very solid defender, which just plays hand in hand in a guy that won't be taken out of major league lineups. Guy we had talked about last podcast, Tyler O'Neill, outfielder for the Cardinals. Guy's hitting. He's not going to hit for a high average, low average, but this guy has got power for days. He's got lead speed for as big as a guy that he is. Get this guy where you can. Tyler O'Neill for the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right, so that takes care of 3 batters. We're going to move on to another 3 batters before wrapping this up, and we're going to start with Hunter Dozier, eligible at multiple positions, first baseman for the Kansas City Royals. Rob, tell us about him.
Yeah, Hunter Dozier, very similar to that of Josh Rojas, had a pretty solid spring. Just a couple years ago, this guy was big power numbers. Last year, not so much, had the COVID, so, can contribute that to a down season. Again, it's only 2 months. But Hunter Dozier, yes, plays multiple positions. I know in Yahoo's first, third, and right, that always helps. Play him across the diamond. I have a really good feeling Hunter Dozier really starts putting it together again on our Kansas City Royals. This lineup is deep. I think he has the potential to be like a 30 home run, 100 RBI kind of guy. And just another one that just popped in my head, J.D. Davis of the Mets, who has been getting scooped up lately. Another guy that I'm very high on that almost profiles in the same way as Hunter Dozier, who should be available. So that was a little bonus guy for you. Going out into Colorado, Raimel Tapia. People don't know what to do with this guy. This guy hits and steals bases. That's a really good start to a Major League Baseball's career, and also happens to play very well in fantasy. I know he was leading off there for a while. I just have a feeling that people are mistaken the fact that Raimel Tapia doesn't hit for home runs. Oh, he plays in Colorado. Guy should hit 15, 30. No, it's not. Doesn't work that way with him. He's just a hitter. This guy plays really well. I almost think of him as David Fletcher of last year with the Angels. But again, he does have the benefit of playing in Colorado. So this guy's been getting on base a lot. I see a lot of runs, a plethora of stolen bases. And I'm thinking an average of like 300 up, like almost like what DJ LeMahieu was when he played in Denver. And last but surely not least, somebody for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we're sticking that with Josh Rojas. Pavin Smith has gotten the call and hasn't stopped hitting. Always a great sign for somebody who gets the call and just continues to hit the baseball. So whether or not this will sustain, we don't know. But in any case of just riding a hot streak, let's pick up Pavin Smith, see where it takes us.
And, is that something like you're in an 8-team league, just ignore him? If you're in a 12-team league, what do you think the projection is there? Because I know right now he's 12% rostered, only up 2% this week. So are these desperation ads right now? Or are we what we're calling this a diving deep one for sure?
Yeah, that's exactly. Whenever I think diving deep, I think at least a 12-man roster. But a guy like, let's just kind of circle back really quick on an Alex Kirilloff and Kyle Gibson, 2 guys that we've talked about, those guys need to be added.
Sure, great suggestion. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our Diving Deep waiver pickups. Good luck with your teams. Leave your comments on our selections. Once again, this is Fantasy R&R with Rob and Ryan. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.